The hour has arrived. The squad is here. Welcome Ray Fisher, Phil Agnew, Mr. Sands, y'all. Give it up.
Hello. Everywhere we go, people wanna know.
Come on.
Who to vote for? So we tell them, vote for Sanders. Bernie Sanders. Hey, okay, that's enough for right now. There's plenty of time. We're gonna have plenty of time and plenty of doors to knock on and chant that along the way, as well as some other things that you may hear here today. My name is Ray Fisher. I am a national surrogate for the Bernie Sanders campaign for 2020. I'm here with the fantabulous Mr. Philip Agnew. And don't skip on the praise now. Don't skip on the praise. And also the lovely, effervescent, talented, fierce, all of that, Mr. Kendrick Sampson.
Yeah.
So we've got to be brief because we've got a lot of people to say a lot of great things, and we've got a lot of doors to go knock on. But I just want to remind people that we are in a bit of a marathon when it comes to what we're doing out here, right? It's a marathon, it's a race, but it's also a relay race. You know, we're setting up for the next crew of people who are going to be going out and canvassing after Super Tuesday is done. And what we want to do is make sure that we hit the numbers that we can, go out there with as much enthusiasm and as much positivity as we possibly can, so we can inspire them to stay involved and to continue to get involved in what it is we're trying to do. You know, today we've gotten a lot of news about different candidates being endorsed by other previous candidates, and that can seem a little disheartening to some folks, but you got to realize something. We don't have to be endorsed by establishment candidates. We are endorsed.
Come on.
We are
By the
endorsed.
people.
We are endorsed. We are endorsed by something a little greater than that. We're endorsed by justice.
Yes.
We are endorsed by a moral compass. All right. We are endorsed by the idea of equality.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that no one in the establishment can do for us. That is something that the grassroots movement is putting together for ourselves, thanks to the help of Senator Bernie Sanders. So I want to say thank you. I'm going to get out of your hair, but just please keep that in mind. You know, we are still winning. We are winning this race.
Yeah.
And we intend to continue to win this race all the way until we get Senator Sanders into the White House and defeating Donald Trump.
Yeah.
All right? Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'd like to introduce you. Well, I've already introduced him once, but I'd like to bring forward our great orator, Mr. Philip Agnew.
North Carolina, how are you doing? How are you doing? I want to first start off by saying, as an organizer to other organizers, I want to say thank you, because I know how hard it is to do what we do. This is a thankless job. There are not many books chronicling the everyday moves of organizers who knock on doors, who make calls, who send texts, who talk to family members, who argue with family members about this, the existential crisis of our time and our opportunity to actually do something about it. How many of you all have ever been to New York? All right. So if you've traveled on the subway or gone around New York, or any public place in New York, or any public voice recording, you'll hear a consistent drone about in New York that says, if you see something, say something. If you see something, say something. Now their intent is for us to be deputized anti-terrorist experts. And if we see anything that is awry, any person that looks a little bit off, that we will report them to the authorities. But for many, many years, we've seen things. We've seen families now separated at the border. We've seen people dead in the desert. We've seen children not have adequate food.
Yep.
We've seen people dying on their way to emergency rooms. We've seen people dying in emergency rooms. Hey, oh, I know it. I'm sorry. You done messed up my whole thing. I know it. We've seen a country that has been divided over and over and over by race, by gender, by class, by sexual orientation. We've seen a lot of things. And I think tomorrow in North Carolina, in California, in Texas, and places around this country, we are going to say something. We're going to say that we want a country better than the one that we inherited.
Yep.
We are going to say that we are no longer pleased, no longer contented, no longer tranquilized by having our lives decided by people who have never had dirt under their fingernails, people who have never had sweat on their brow, people who have never had a backache, people who have never had a little pain in their arm or their leg and not gone to the doctor about it. People who have never had to wonder where their next meal will come from. People who have never dug in the couch to find money, to find change for food, or ate the marijuana. People who have never had to struggle, right? And we are going to declare tomorrow that the country that we want is about to be born. And in order for it to be born, a new North Carolina is necessary. And we are going to move forward in that direction. This is a movement not about one person, not about charisma, not about skilled oration, not about flash, not about pizzazz, but about everyday people who are declaring their humanity. And I am proud, I am exceedingly joyful every time I have the opportunity to be amongst the Burn crew. The Bernie Bros, the Bernie sisters, right? We're the Bernie brothers, you know what I'm saying? I am excited and proud because I don't know what happens on Twitter all the time. I know this is what this movement is about.
Absolutely.
Smiling faces,
That's right.
people who are smiling through the test, right? Because they know a testimony is on the other side. And so I want to tell you all once again, thank you for every little thing that you do, every big thing that you do, every amount of hosting and helping and assisting that you do. It is going to transform this country. When people ask, your grandchildren ask you where you were in the year of our Lord 2020, when the right was rising, when hate was ascendant, when Donald Trump seemed impenetrable, when the world seemed like it was burning, they're going to ask where you were in the year 2020. And you're going to be able to look at them and say, I was right in the middle. Absolutely. I got from the sidelines and got right in the middle of the game of our lives. We are an immovable object, right?
That's right.
We are not going to be moved, right? And we have a lot of work to do, and it's going to start here. It's gone here. It's continued here. The state of North Carolina has a history of struggle, and the struggle continues. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Bringing up somebody who I've grown to have a deep, deep respect and a fondness for. A person whose eyes you should not look into. You'll be reduced to a person with weak knees and a stuttering tongue. All jokes aside, this is a person who deeply cares. He is an activist, he is an organizer who also happens to be on television. Somebody who is dedicated to this work, who is intentional about their words and the way that they move and the spirit that they conjure. So please give it up for Kendrick.
Phil is, I just admire the hell out of him. Yo, I'm ready to dismantle some systems. Y'all ready to dismantle some systems? I'm ready to take people from the margins who are always marginalized, always vulnerable, and attacked by these systems, targeted by these systems, and bring them to the middle. Are y'all ready for that?
Yeah!
All right, so I have to do one thing, and I have to make sure everywhere I go that I acknowledge my ancestors.
That's right.
I have to acknowledge the ancestors that are here. We are standing right now on the graves, the blood, the sweat of our ancestors, indigenous ancestors, black ancestors, Africans that were stolen from their country and made a commodity. There were systems built around that. Those systems are still in place. Those systems still need to be dismantled. We are standing on the graves of liberators. Liberators, we are part of this liberation movement. We are accomplices in this liberation movement. It continues today. The political revolution is a new phase of that continued liberation movement. I want y'all to get that in y'all's spirit. I want y'all to thank those ancestors because they're right here with you right now. They are standing amongst you. They are inside you. They are telling you what to say. Listen to them. They are telling you when to listen. They are telling you when to move on. How many of y'all know it's not our job to convince everybody?
Right. Right.
I didn't. How many of y'all know
I'm doing
it's
everybody.
not our job to convince everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. It's not our job to argue with people. There are so many more people that just need a little nudge, need an invitation, all right? Need the right information, need to know where their polling location is. Then we need to convince. We don't need to convince people. There are so many people that have the spirit of liberation inside of them and want to join this movement. They just need the right information, the right nudge, the right invitation.
That's right.
And it's gonna come from y'all, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right. Now think about these ancestors amongst you right now.
Come on.
They're here. They're here. Accomplices in that movement. Accomplices in liberation. They're standing amongst you right now. They're walking with you as you go. And they've won.
Come on.
Because I'm here.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've won because Phil is here.
Yes.
They've won because Ray is here. They've won because Jermaine is here.
That's right.
Yeah.
They've won because Nina is here. They've won because I'm talking about what I'm talking about to y'all.
Yeah.
They've won because we have this movement.
Come on.
And they try to frame those wins as losses. They are not. This movement, as Phil always says, this train has already left the station.
Come on.
The movement will move without you.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So we have to just continue the work. We have to do everything we can in every state that we can to make sure that we are supporting the liberation movement.
Absolutely.
Supporting the political revolution.
Come on.
Yes.
All right? So imagine these ancestors with you, and I want y'all to take a second. Well, actually, before I do that, I always have to say that a sign of that resistance, a sign of that winning is our culture.
Come on.
Seasoning. We got good food. Black people can cook, can't they? Latinx people can cook. They use seasoning. Colonizers colonized the entire world for seasoning and still don't know how to use it. That is a sign of resistance, our culture. Rhythm is a sign of resistance.
That's right.
How many people got rhythm here? All right, a few of them. What we're gonna do is call on these ancestors to accept their rhythm for a second, to guide us in that rhythmic process, that sign of resistance.
Come on.
Close your eyes and think about the people that you're fighting for. Close your eyes and think about the people that you're fighting for. The people that are most vulnerable in your life. That's who we're fighting for right now. Those children, those elderly, those without health insurance, those trans folk, those queer folk, people of color all over the U.S., people who are in prison right now being abused by this system, people who are targeted by police, disabled people, people who are homeless. No one should not have a home in the richest country in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
excuse me, the richest country in the world.
That's right.
Both are true.
Right? I come from Texas where we think we're our own country. So apologies for that.
That's awesome.
That is also very true. No one should be struggling. We all have the resources available here to thrive. We just have to make sure we dismantle these systems that are hoarding these resources. And we build new systems that are geared around healing and making sure that everybody has a chance to thrive. So think about these people as you go. Put a face to this fight. It's not a concept. This is an actual movement of people. And these people have faces. Bring them with you as the ancestors are with you too. Think about that as we say these next words. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop.
What?
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop.
Say
We're gonna
what?
call on those ancestors for the rhythm. There's a rhythm to this. Call on those ancestors. If you ain't got that rhythm, listen to the ancestors. It's going to be an exercise of listening right now. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people
Let
don't
them
stop.
all hear you.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
One more time.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
Yeah. That is true. That is the sign of this resistance. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. That's why I'm still here today. That's why many of y'all are standing here today talking about what you're talking about and fighting for what you're fighting for. These systems are well resourced. They got deep pockets, but they do not have the people power that we have. That's right. That is why we will win.
Yes.
All right, let's get this political revolution cracking. I think I'll introduce the next person. I got you. Possibly.
There we go.
Come on, Jumani.
All right, real quick. Y'all heard us talking about New York earlier. And so, you know, this political revolution allows you the opportunity to meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Your
Hero.
heroes, people that you've seen, people who are fighters. And so we talked about New York a little bit earlier, but we have one of New York's real finest with us.
That's right.
I have to say, I said his name wrong earlier because
Jumani.
remember when you talk about fighting for people you don't know? I was posting a lot about this brother, and I ain't even know how to say his name. So, we gotta talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
So as a Chicagoan, you know, it's hard for me to big up New York. You know, it's real hard. But we have one of New York's finest. And he's a national surrogate for this campaign. When he endorsed, it was another affirmation in my heart, in my soul, when I'm wondering whether I'm on the right path, that I am on this right path.
Yeah.
So I want y'all to really, really give a North Carolina welcome to what, like I said, one of New York's absolute finest, the future of New York, the future in this country, New York City public advocate, Brother Jumani Williams.
My name is Jumani Williams, and I'm the public advocate for New York City. Everybody say, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? All right, there are 3 citywide elected officials in New York City: the mayor, the public advocate, and the comptroller. That's one of me. I'm one of them. I am the 4th black elected official ever in the city of New York. I have Tourette's syndrome and ADHD. You know what Tourette's syndrome is?
Yeah.
You may see me shake a little bit, but I'm okay. I'm as cool as a fan. But I am super excited to be here in North Carolina to support none other than Senator Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
And we all should be super excited. I know we all came for different reasons, but the one thing we know, Bernie Sanders is trying to shake this system up. And it's critically important because there are a lot of people who don't want that. We know we have to get rid of the orange man in the White House. That's orange craziness coming in. But we also have to make sure that we have somebody that wants to smash the systems up that were talked about. And everybody doesn't want that. That's why people are trying their best to get people to move off of the Bernie train, but we're not moving anywhere.
Come on.
Because Trump didn't get here by himself. There was a lot of people that came here before Trump. And I gotta tell you, I'm sorry about anybody mad, a lot of them had D's in front of their names.
That's right. That's
And
right.
as Senator Turner used to say, every blue just won't do. And so we have to make it plain that we don't want to just get rid of this orange man in the White House. We want to dismantle the system that's We want to dismantle a system that lifts up billionaires that think they can run this country and buy this country. We want to get rid of a system that puts a few people in office so they can get jobs to their friends at the expense of the masses of the people. And that is what Senator Bernie Sanders is all about. And I'm telling you, the people here, y'all can make it happen. You have to believe me. 10 years ago, I got elected to the city council in New York City. I beat an incumbent. I was fighting something called the abuses of stop, question, and frisk. They stopped more young black men than lived in the city of New York. They told me when I got elected that I had to change who I was. I can't be an activist and an elected official. I got to stop. I'm too much. I'm a community organizer by training. I said I'm not going to do that because the best elected officials are also activists. And the reason I know this message works, because they told me I couldn't take on the mayor, who's now trying to do something else. I couldn't take on the police commissioner. That we couldn't take them on. 10 years later, that man is apologizing for the abuses, and I'm a citywide elected official. Come on.
Yes.
Because of people like y'all, we have a real chance to take this thing tomorrow and close all these people's mouths who are talking bullshit.
Yes.
Speak. Bernie Sanders is lifting up people and making them know that everybody has a right to breathe American air, that everybody has a right to get the American dream. He's letting people understand why farmers need to care about black trans women dying with impunity in this country. He's telling us why we all have to do this together and we can rise together, and that the people who benefit from keeping us apart are the people who don't like him.
That's right.
We're gonna smash that up.
Yes.
Y'all know what mic check is?
Yeah.
Mic check. Mic check. Just repeat after me. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We about to change the world.
We're about to change the world.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We're gonna change the world.
We're gonna change the world.
Because I'm not afraid.
I'm not
Of
afraid
the word revolutionary.
of the word revolutionary.
I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid
Of the word revolutionary.
of the word revolutionary.
And
I
I'm voting.
am voting
For Bernie Sanders.
for Bernie Sanders.
I'm bringing 5 people.
And bringing 5 people
For Bernie
to
Sanders.
vote for Bernie Sanders. I
Probably will.
probably will
10 people.
bring 10 people
Vote for Bernie Sanders.
to vote for Bernie Sanders.
I'm telling all my friends,
All my
my
friends,
entire family,
my entire
to
family,
vote
to vote
for the next president
for the next
of the
president
United States of America.
of the United States of
His
America.
name is
His name is
Senator
Senator
Bernie
Bernie
Sanders.
Sanders.
I got one more, and I'm gonna fight who y'all came to see right now. Y'all with me? Gonna repeat one more
Came
time?
to you.
Do y'all believe we can win this thing?
Yes.
I said, do y'all believe we can win this thing?
Yes.
We're gonna change the entire nation tomorrow. Repeat after me. I believe.
I believe.
I believe that.
I believe that.
I believe that we can win.
I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win.
Next up. Come on. We got the one.
Come on,
The only. I said the one. The only. Let's get a drum roll. So, her name, SMT, Senator Nina Turner.
Man, the brothers laying it down, aren't they? I want you to put a little icing on this cake, baby. The sun is going down, so we're competing against the sun. So if you want to hear the long form version of what I got to say, just Google it. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Just so happy to be back in the state. Happy to be back in this state with some phenomenal folks. I want to thank Advocate Williams, my 3 brothers, Kendrick, Agnew, and Ray. Man, let me tell you something. I done traveled this country with a whole bunch of folks, but this is a whole new level right here. So North Carolina, we're gonna do this thing, and one of my favorite people who everywhere I come, he's from Brazil. He said, everybody in Brazil knows you, Senator. Everybody. He said, I want you to just tell people what the difference is between North Carolina and South Carolina. So I'm going to keep this thing short. Agnew time me because the sun is going down. No, I'm serious. The sun is going down.
What's the time?
And 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'm a preacher's kid and I'm a politician and, you know, mic check. You know, it just, I can't stop sometimes when I get started. So I respect what he said. Listen, Senator Sanders is the front runner, no matter what the talking heads want to say and what the haters gonna say.
Right.
He won the popular vote in Iowa. He won the popular vote in New Hampshire. They dropped the damn mic in the bat. I just laid it down. South Carolina was always going to be different. It was always going to be the hardest early state. And listen, we invested in that state. No shame. You know, people who don't get into the arena can talk smack. We got into the arena and we did what was necessary to build relationships, to talk to our sisters and brothers in South Carolina. And no regrets there. You win some and you lose some. But South Carolina is, you know, older electorate. We know that young African Americans, young folks in every ethnic group rocking with Senator Bernard.
That's right. That's right.
And what I want to shout out our sisters and brothers in South Carolina, because we don't leave nobody behind.
That's right.
So we came into South Carolina with the most delegates, and baby, we left South Carolina. That's just what that is. So don't be afraid or sad. And you know, listen, Congressman Carrboro is a legend there. He did that thing. He put his hand on his game, and he did that. He did that. But this is the ultimate point about South Carolina, besides the fact we have no regrets. Senator Sanders went to over 70 events in that state. He talks about South Carolina all the time because he cares deeply for that state, as he cares deeply about everybody in this country. But I want you to understand this. In 2016, Senator Sanders won 22 contests as an insurgent. He's still running as an insurgent right now. We congratulate Vice President Biden for winning his very first primary out of 3 runs.
Good job. Good job. Well done.
You know, he ran for president. This is his 3rd run, and he finally won one. Come on, somebody. Because guess what, Burners? We not chasing them, they chasing us. Hello. Senator Sanders is #1. He is #1, and we gonna show some stuff. Super Tuesday gonna be super for us. And it's because we're doing the work. I want to thank all of you for everything that you are doing. Titles are good, but purpose is better. I want you to know, as my brother Agnew said, when history is written, you all going to be written in that history. The reason why our campaign is so strong, we got almost 9 million donations into this campaign. Hello, somebody. Teachers are our #1 donor profession. Hello, somebody. We get donations from people that work at places like Amazon and Target and the United States Postal Service. And do you know they are a representation of the working class people of this nation. They understand that it's not just about defeating President Donald J. Trump. It's about somebody having a vision for the future. What does that vision look like? I'm glad you asked. What they call radical, I call right on time. Medicare for all is not radical, it's right on time. Canceling student debt is not radical, it's right on time. Making sure women earn their whole damn dollar is not radical, it's right on time. Changing a legal system that is racist to its core is not radical, it's right on time. Legalizing marijuana is not radical, it's right on time. Expunging records of people who went down on BS drug charges, i.e. marijuana charges, and I ain't talking about Bernie Sanders, it's not radical, it's right on time. Understanding that we gotta save Mother Earth because we messed up Mother Earth is not radical, it's right on time. And stepping up and saying to Wall Street, the pharmaceutical industry, the fossil fuel industry, that I am coming for your greed is not radical, it's right on time. You, the workaday people, you deserve much better than what you are getting, and don't let people tell you different. We are not going from yes we can to no we can't. And I want you to listen to those people up on the stage talking about what we can't do. Senator Bernie Sanders is reaching too high, dreaming too big, making promises he cannot keep. Can I just walk down memory lane for the last 2 minutes I got, which is FDR, when he pushed for Social Security. He was called a socialist. That was called a socialist program. The elites of his day came after him. He said, baby, I welcome your hatred. It is because of leadership and courage that we have Social Security. Social Security stops so many people, both our elders and our people who are disabled, from being in abject poverty. So don't run from that word. In the 60s, when Lyndon Baines Johnson was pushing for Medicare for all, they called that socialism too. They tried to stop that too. See, the days pop up in every generation. And that is why it's good to have revolutionaries in every generation. So Medicare for all is one of the most successful programs in the United States of America. And I double dog dare you to try to take it from an elder. They will wrestle you down. I mean, they will beat you like you stole something. You trying to mess with Medicare. So we talk about democratic socialism. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. It means government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Oh, yeah.
That's all that means. So we, just like we ain't scared of the word revolutionary, we ain't scared of the word democratic socialism.
Yeah.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a democratic socialist. Helen Keller was a democratic socialist. Somebody, Asa Philip Randolph was a democratic socialist. I can go on and on and on. All I'm saying to you, as sisters and brothers, is that with these hands, so can you raise one hand for yourself and another hand for somebody else? Yeah. With these hands, we will have Medicare for all. With these hands, we will have college for all. Yeah. With these hands, we will cancel student debt. Yeah. With these hands, we will cancel medical debt. With these hands, we will have a humane immigration system. With these hands, we will transform a legal system to finally to justice. With these hands, women will get their whole damn dollar. With these hands, we will have transcendence. With these hands, you fill in your blank. And with these hands, we will make Senator Bernard Sanders the 46th President of the United States of America. Let's go out. Yes.
Lung cancer stage 4.
Lung cancer stage 4.
And Medicare is the only thing keeping me alive.
You all hear that? We got a witness right here. So why not expand that for everybody? Yes, I remember that.
You came at the Emulsina in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
That's my friend.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Okay, team.
Let's go get it, baby.
What we doing? People know where they going?
All right.
Dr. Simon, what's going on? Somebody. Come on, let's get it.
All right, perfect, great. So if you guys are experienced canvassers and you guys are right ahead on the doors, enter your list number, go ahead and get out there knocking. Remember to come back here to debrief. If you guys need help with minivan, come see me or Ramik over here. If you guys don't have lists, go see Ramik over there, okay? All right, thank you guys.
Oh, get out.